Good to have you with us here on this Monday edition of Ed Schultz News and Commentary. I'm probably the only person in Washington, D.C. that has decided to work for a living today. I've seen snow before. I've seen 2-3 feet of snow before, and you can walk through it and get to work. First of all, I just wonder if the District of Columbia would have had the trucks moving yesterday if the NFC-AFC championship game were not on. I mean, I don't know if that played into it at all. You know, everybody wants to stay home and watch football. The bars were sure full. Nobody had a hard time getting to them. But the streets, there just wasn't a whole lot of activity. Now, you would think that since there's 3 feet of snow and drifts galore, that the trucks would be out moving because people got to go to work on Monday. Nah, the federal government's off today. Lots of office buildings are closed. They're going to milk this baby for about 2 or 3 days. And I realize that a lot of side streets throughout the district aren't going to get touched for a few days. So it's going to be Hunker Down City Week is what it's going to be. Anyway, I don't know. It's just different in the Midwest, okay? Moving snow is not like moving a mountain, but whatever. I know they got the trucks because I've seen them. They just haven't been moving. All right, they call this the silly season. They call this the season where things get said that you just can't believe. And I think I could pick something out every day. Yesterday on CNN, Donna Brazile actually said she's not supporting Hillary Clinton. I about fell off the couch. She's the vice chair of the DNC. The Clintons run the DNC. The Clintons tell Debbie Wasserman Schultz what time she can have breakfast. The lot. Come on. You know, and now all of a sudden they're coming across saying, well, not really, not really. I don't buy that for a moment. And then there's, of all things, the president talking to Politico, giving this analysis about the race. Listen to this. Let me just say, if you'll notice the tracking of all the polling that has gone on the last 6 months, Bernie Sanders broke even and moved out in front of Hillary in Iowa and in New Hampshire when the media started treating him like a serious candidate and started giving him somewhere close to equal coverage. Now listen to what Obama says. Obama says that Hillary has been scrutinized. Excuse me? On this podcast with Politico, he says that Hillary's just, been the front runner and people have been chipping away at her, and it's just really tough to be the front runner because there's more scrutiny. There is more love fest going on with Hillary Clinton in the mainstream media than any other candidate in the history of campaigns. Listen to this.
I think Bernie came in with the luxury of being a complete long shot,
right,
and just letting loose.
Right.
I think Hillary came in with the both privilege and burden of being perceived as the front runner, and as a consequence, where they stood at the beginning probably helps to explain why.
Do you feel like it's a little bit
language sometimes is different?
Do you feel like it's a little bit unfair to her to some extent? The way
unfair to Hillary? Yeah. Are you kidding me? Did you hear that question? Do you think it's unfair to Hillary that Bernie's not getting any attention at all? Play the rest of it.
It's a little bit unfair to her to some extent, the way this has been stacked?
Yeah, well, yes. But I think that Hillary's tough, and she has been through this before, and she could anticipate it. If you are a front runner, then you are under more scrutiny, and everybody's going to pick you apart. And if you're...
And by everybody in 08, you meant you.
But if you think about it, after I won Iowa,
right,
then suddenly things are flipped. That's right. I go to New Hampshire and, Obama's looking kind of cocky. We need to knock him down. And the voters themselves start doing that.
Well, they didn't. She barely won New Hampshire, and the crying incident certainly had an effect on the female vote up in New Hampshire, and the rest is history. All right, now, I just find it utterly amazing. I wonder if the president's even paying attention to what's going on in this campaign and the inequality of coverage that's taking place. This isn't opinion. This is fact. It has been documented. It has been documented how little coverage Bernie has gotten. And it wasn't until he started to get somewhere near equal coverage and conversation by the mainstream media that the poll numbers in Iowa and in New Hampshire started to skyrocket for him. And now he leads Hillary by the biggest lead of 51-43 by a CNN ORC poll. All right, now we've got this conversation about Mayor Bloomberg. Mayor Bloomberg, Michael Bloomberg, media magnate, owns a lot of stuff, okay? Multi-billionaire and beyond. He's talking about running for president. He's thinking about an independent run. Someone needs to explain to me what states he's actually going to win and how this whole process is going to function. The only way I see Michael Bloomberg being the president of the United States, if there is complete dysfunction and it gets thrown to the Congress and by somehow he cash whips everybody and they like the idea of getting money in their pocket, and then he ends up president. And now that's rather outlandish, but come on, folks. This is another billionaire on an ego trip. Go ask Rudy Giuliani. Just because you think you can run New York doesn't mean people in this country are going to vote for you. He was smothered in the Republican primary in 2008, totally professionally embarrassed. Now he's on the rubber chicken circuit. Hell, he even spoke in Fargo, North Dakota not long ago. The fact is, Michael Bloomberg is not going to be president of the United States. This is an ego trip. He's trying to gum it up. And clearly, they're afraid of two people. And that's Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders. And Bloomberg isn't going to win Kansas. Bloomberg isn't going to win Texas. Bloomberg isn't going to win California, a blue state. It isn't going to happen. It's not going to happen, okay? Now, I know that anything can happen in politics, but I think, that isn't going to go down because mathematically it doesn't work. All right. So this is Bernie Sanders giving the perfect response to Michael Bloomberg thinking he should be president of the United States, or he's thinking about running as an independent.
I think it would be very interesting if Donald Trump became the Republican candidate who was a multi-billionaire, and Michael Bloomberg became an independent candidate who was a multi-billionaire. And it will tell people what I have been saying for a long time, is that this country is moving away from democracy to oligarchy, that billionaires are the people who are controlling our political life. That is not what, to my view, American democracy is supposed to be about, a contest between billionaires. If that takes place, I am confident that we will win it.
Absolutely. Bernie will be walking right into the White House. So I don't know what Bloomberg is thinking, but this is totally a billionaire ego trip. Where's the movement across this country calling for Michael Bloomberg to get in and to save the country as an independent candidate? What, could he draw 10 people at a rally in the middle of the country? It isn't going to happen. All right. This is Trump on the campaign trail on Saturday responding to the news that Bloomberg might jump in.
Then I'm going to have to deal against Hillary if she doesn't go to jail, or I'm going to have to deal against Bernie or somebody, or Bloomberg comes in, which would be great. I'd love to have him come in because I love the competition, frankly. I mean, it would be great if I'd love Bloomberg to come in.
So this is the silly season that's going on. This is Ed Schultz News and Commentary, brought to you by Communication Workers of America, Alliance for American Manufacturing, BioGreen Clean, and the iSave team. I'm working for a living. And by the way, tonight is the first show of the News with Ed Schultz on RT America. You can find it on Dish and Direct, 8 o'clock Eastern Time for 30 minutes, a wrap up of the day's news. Stay with us. We're right back.